Well, we started with project teams and moved to permanent teams, and that was pretty pivotal in our change. When we implemented the permanent teams, we sent everybody through training, and probably the thing that I think was my best moment was when we had the team vote whether they wanted to work that way or not, that it wasn't a leadership decision, it was a team decision about how we were going to work.
With Thrivent, we started with a business case in 2013. Our CIO was interested in, should we invest, should we put energy behind Agile adoption? That was kind of the big question, and we did that business case, and we determined that we should in fact adopt Agile as an alternative to the traditional approach that we've always used. We said we needed some money, and so we requested funding so that we could do coaching, we could do training, etc. And our primary business objective was speed to market. We started our Agile adoption with a couple of pilot projects. We felt that if we could get some good stories that would allow us to talk about the success, we could grow the approach. One of our divisions went, the investment division went all in, and so that was a really great place for us to bring people to stand-up meetings or Scrum sessions and kind of introduce them to the approach. So we've used kind of a natural adoption is what we've called it, and growing to the point where we have about 30 teams now running using the Scrum process.
Agile benefits Thrivent just because you have more communication, more collaboration, and you're able to deliver benefit fast.
The big benefits we're seeing, and not always measurable so much, we've tried to measure speed to market, for example, and we're keeping track of those metrics. It's not always easy to translate that into a direct correlation to true benefit, but we do voice of the customer and we do employee engagement surveys.
Well, for people that like the old waterfall way of working or liked the process part, there's some unlearning that has to be done. For those that didn't have any process before, it feels like heavy process. So we kind of have a spectrum of people going from no process to process and heavy process to a different process. I think what's important is to continue to stay on the why of what you're doing. So we have monikers hanging in the ceiling of our space that talk about why, about the value and the transparency, the accountability, key person dependencies, efficiency, and customer satisfaction. So in our business, the numbers get really big really fast in terms of the value, but always connecting exactly what we do to the dollars that it's impacting is sometimes harder to connect. So for me, I think the metrics, showing the value is still not crisp. We know where it is. We can see that in our customers' requests. They're asking us for more. So the better we get, the more work we get.
The product proved the process. But the biggest challenge is to overcome some of the buzzwords. Just like with any methodology or any practice, you have to get over what is Scrum? What is a stand-up? That seems heavy to do that every day. Why are we doing that? So we're trying to find ways that, for the group that's driving it, that we understand what the objectives are for, or what we're driving toward, without using the language that may scare or intimidate others. Until we can really bring them in and get an understanding and bring them through the process where they see the benefit themselves.
Some of our leaders have been around a long time, and they're very stuck kind of in their way of doing things. They're probably a bit risk averse, and they're not interested in the change and the disruption, and trying to decide now how do we want to help those those leaders who aren't quite there yet. How do we get them over the hump and get them supportive?
since we started Agile, we've actually had more time to do the continuous improvement things that were on our list before that actually will make the difference in having time and creates capacity for our staff to bring the brilliant ideas of innovation forward.
A lot of our Agile teams are seeing the benefits of innovation and creativity so that they can try some ideas and not make it an enormous investment. And so some of our business leaders have started to really latch onto that idea, run the test with the team. Maybe it's a sprint, maybe it's 2 sprints, get that result, and then decide if they want to continue that investment.
I think what's changed with Agile is the ease of working out of the office and the elimination of the fear that you're not doing something because you're at home, because now you're checking in every day. Everybody knows exactly what you're working on in the day, or somebody does, and if you're not there, you know you have somebody to cover you. So if your kids are sick and you can't work, somebody's going to cover what needed to be done. I think the other thing that's changed is our delivery cycle. We're running in 2-week sprints, and so now there's kind of a push every 2 weeks instead of the nightmare push that happened every 3 or 6 months. And so just pacing ourselves at a sustainable pace is, obviously one of the key principles of Agile. But to live that takes work, and I think that's really played itself out with the process.